Top 5 Horror Remakes of 2022 that have immense potential. Remakes can always be a hit or a miss, but they always carry a promise of some sort, with fans hoping that there will be some resemblance, or even an improvement, to a film that they once loved. The horror genre will always be eternal, and while there are plenty of original films that we get to see on the big screen and streaming services, it is always interesting to see remakes of some classic horror films that set the bar for what we view today. Some of these films like Salem's Lot and Firestarter are classic Stephen King adaptations with antagonists ranging from vampires to an 8-year-old pyrokinetic girl. In this video, we will explore the top 5 horror remakes that are set to hit the theaters this year. But before we begin, please consider subscribing to us. It may be a small click from you, but it goes a long way for us. Let's begin, shall we? Number 1, Hellraiser, 1987. Frank Cotton buys a puzzle box from a mysterious man said to open the door to a realm of otherworldly pleasure, enticing him in an instant, and in his attic, when Frank solves the puzzle, hooked chains emerge, tearing him apart, leaving the chains and his dismembered body in the room until a black hooded figure walks in, picking the box up and restoring the room to how it used to be. I think we all know who this great villain was. Sometime after, Frank's brother Larry moves in with his wife, Julia, and as a result of some blood accidentally dripping into the attic, Frank is resurrected as a skinless corpse. When Julia finds him, she decides to help him by bringing random men back to the attic for him to drain and regenerate his body. He then tells her about the Cenobites, who are explorers from another dimension and simply seeking carnal experiences. And as events unfold, Frank kills his brother and steals his skin, taking over his identity. At the start of the Hellraiser franchise, this film is one of the better horror films of the 80s and of course, the best one from the franchise. Based on Clive Barker's novella The Hellbound Heart, the Cenobites took the horror buffs by storm. This film is a classic horror that can be revisited time and again because of the plot, the Cenobites, the lore, and of course, the mighty Pinhead. The upcoming Hellraiser will be directed by David Bruckner and will be the 11th installment of this franchise, and will take inspiration from its source material, The Hellbound Heart. The cast will include Odessa Isian and Jamie Clayton, along with Brandon Flynn, Drew Starkey, and many others. Number 2, Firestarter, 1984. As a result of participating in an experiment where they are given a dose of low-grade hallucinogen, Vicky Tomlinson and Andy McGee inherit telepathic abilities. While Vicky can read minds,
I didn't say that. I just thought it.
Andy can control others to believe and do whatever he wants them to. Together, they get married and have a child named Charlie. Their 8-year-old daughter now has pyrokinetic abilities, meaning she can control heat. Furthermore, she can also see the future. Tragedy hits the family when Andy comes home to find Vicky murdered and Charlie missing, and Andy suspects the government agency who had sponsored this experiment.
Charlie!
Luckily, Andy finds his daughter and decides to hide away for the next year or so, constantly on the run. Despite seeking shelter with a couple, things don't go as planned, and Andy's powers are weakened. It doesn't take long for the government to find the father and daughter pair, ready to separate them and begin their work. Firestarter might not be the favorite Stephen King adaptation, but Drew Barrymore's performance as Charlie truly steals the show. The direction and writing were a supportive backbone of this film, despite it being slightly rushed. While this film isn't as scary and can be viewed by anyone, it is thought-provoking. The remake is set to release on the 13th of May in 2022 and will be directed by Keith Thomas, who is best known for his work, The Vigil. We will also be seeing Zac Efron play the role of Andy McGee, which will be interesting, given his past roles, which were very different from this. Number 3, Crimes of the Future, 1970. Adrian Tripod is the director of a dermatological clinic called the House of Skin and is currently searching for his mentor, Antoine Rouge, who hasn't been found since the disastrous plague, which was a result of cosmetic products. This plague also wiped out the entire population of mature and grown-up women. Following Rouge's disappearance, Tripod joins several different organizations, where he meets groups of men who are trying to adjust to a world without women. But soon, one of his patients dies because of the plague, causing Tripod to check into a mental health clinic. Here, Tripod makes acquaintance with a group of pedophiles who decide to kidnap a 5-year-old girl. They aim to force her into puberty, and as the group proceeds to maliciously impregnate her, they realize that she too has been infected by the plague, and isn't the only one. David Cronenberg is known for his unsettling style of films, and this one doesn't fall short either. Crimes of the Future is an incredibly uneasy watch with a low budget, but keeping in mind the fact that it was only his second feature film, it isn't as bad as it potentially could have been, given the nature of the film. It is an intriguing film that gives the viewers a lot to think about. The remake of this film is set to be released in 2022. This film will star Viggo Mortensen, who fans have previously seen in David Cronenberg's film, along with Kristen Stewart. Like the original, even the remake will be directed by Cronenberg, with a different plot, and who knows, this master of body horror may reinvent his movie. Number 4, The Toxic Avenger, 1984. Melvin is a petite janitor who works at a health club in Tromaville, New Jersey, where he faces a lot of bullying and harassment from some of the customers. One day, while being chased around the club, Melvin ends up falling headfirst into a drum of toxic waste. While he is able to save himself, the toxicity turns him into a hideous-looking mutant, but as an advantage, it also gives him superhuman size and strength. Melvin now becomes the superhero of Tromaville. From one incident to another, he is helping the people of the town, fighting crimes, and saving lives. But he soon realizes that all that glitters isn't gold when he self-reflects on the man that he has become since his life changed, for the better or worse. This film is a cult classic for many reasons, but it isn't for everyone. The theme might be slightly darker than it seems because of how offensive it is, and the same film might not have done so well in today's political climate. Nonetheless, it was fit for the 80s. In 2022, The Toxic Avenger will go through a reboot and contemporary reimagining. This film will be directed by Macon Blair, who has his share of experience with comic books, making him more than suitable for this role. It will be the 5th addition to this franchise, and Peter Dinklage, a fan favorite, will be at the center of this film. It will be interesting to see how different this film is from the original one and how it will be received by the audience today.
The Toxic Avenger will be there.
Number 5, Salem's Lot, 1979 miniseries. A successful writer, Ben Mears, returns to his hometown Salem's Lot in Maine, and is hoping to write a new novel while he is there, and wishes to base this story around Marston House. This house is believed to be an evil manor that attracts evil men because of its tragic past and endless folklore attached to this manor. In addition to these incidents, when Ben was a 10-year-old boy, he remembers seeing something resembling a ghostly creature in this house. After a little research, Ben finds out that antique dealer Richard K. Straker has recently purchased this manor, and after befriending a few people in the town, he also learns that the original owner of this manor had committed suicide in it. Soon after, people in the town start dying under suspicious circumstances. While people have suspects in mind, it is revealed that Kurt Barlow, Richard's business partner, and an ancient vampire, had arrived around the time when the murders began. It is only the beginning before vampirism spreads in Salem's Lot. One of the best adaptations of Stephen King's novels, Salem's Lot is frightening, gothic, and doesn't rely on fake blood and gore to scare its viewers. The music plays an important role in the 3-hour-long miniseries, and naturally, it is incredibly chilling and helps set the film's atmosphere, sending shivers down your spine. A remake of this is set to release in September 2022 and will be directed by Gary Dauberman, who is best known for writing the Conjuring saga, assuring the horror fans that this remake will be doing justice to its source material. The cast will consist of some incredibly talented people, like Pilu Asbeck, Louis Pullman, Mackenzie Lee, among others. That was all in this video, but we will keep exploring the best horrors from days of past and future. Hang around for more awesome movie suggestions. Stay safe, and have a good one.